Okay, and to give you a quick introduction to our journey to the awakening, we just will make you forced to look at Morpheus for like a few minutes as we just gonna point out a few points as we will lead deeper into price action, the way it's delivered, the way the market works, and obviously we'll show you also our favorite signature setup, which will literally change the way you trade forever. There's a few important things to mention before we dig into this though. So just to clarify again, any future discussions or whatever, any points where people might have some points to throw in, I just want to say something before that, and that is some might be familiar with any price action from other sources or whatever. Maybe some people saw something somewhere else, be it YouTube, be it Instagram, be it TikTok, wherever, right? So, but let me calm you down for a second before we move obviously into the next sections. Nothing we show you is like from any other sources like ICT, Larry Williams, market makers, whatever, right? But obviously everyone who reveals these information sources, again, this is the way the market works. It's not that someone made this up or created it or invented it. No, it's just the way the market works. But obviously everyone who reveals this information, they should deserve all the credit in the world for making this information publicly available and help other people, right? But again, I just want to cover this one important aspect about these information sources. Like neither myself, Cameron, or Sakba, none of us like had the pleasure to watch through ICT or other sources, right? So, or like any other related content. For example, I can tell you my personal story of how it was. So I discovered that information myself over the last decade of my trading career, piecing literally every little information piece I could find together. And again, I found everything on the internet. It's not a secret. I did not run out of the streets and the lightning hit me in the head. And then I had all these visions about the market. No, of course, I did my research over multiple sources as well. It's not a secret, right? But I pieced everything together. It's not that, again, there was a guideline like we give it to you before. No, it did not exist. That guideline did we create over, again, the last, at this point, even years. Again, we doing lit for almost 3 years at this point, right? So again, it's not that something that this existed before. That's the way we approach the market. But of course, there's other people that maybe have a similar understanding than us and figured the market out. Again, one of the most well-known persons probably is ICT. Again, you can give this guy all the credit you have. Again, he's much longer around than us. I think he started teaching in the 90s. So again, of course, he has much more experience as well, and what he covers is definitely very, very good as well. And again, he also put out his free mentorship on YouTube. If you have not seen that, and it will definitely not hurt you, that you will look at his point of view about the market as well to see a different but very similar approach as well. Again, I just can say none of us did these courses, did these mentorships, but again, we heard a lot of good things about it. So make sure to also check it to hear other people's opinions and points of view about these topics as well. Everything you see and hear in the Awakening Master Guide, though, is the point of view about the markets from our understandings, the way we learned it over the last, again, in my case, close to a decade of trading, right? And again, we did everything. In my case, I tried everything possible you could ever imagine, like no joke. Like literally, I've tried everything, every ridiculous shit you could think of. I started obviously with normal retail strategies, like support, resistance, trend lines, all that stuff, even breakout to a point, right? Going into EMAs, adding Ikimoku clouds with combination of harmonic patterns. At some point, I went so crazy, I even did moon cycles, not even a joke. I went all crazy with all that shit, right? So obviously, I did everything you could ever think of, right? But smart money was unfortunately something I've missed like very, very big, because again, I'm not a secret. Yes, I discovered like ICT, for example, like I would say 7 years ago, but I watched the first videos and it just wasn't my style of like enjoyment of learning. Again, he has like a very specific, I would say, dry approach of speaking, and like the way he explains things with a bit of an ego, and that just wasn't for me. So I just did never had the pleasure to watch it and learn it. That's why the smart money stuff literally crossed away from me for like literally years. And obviously now I just see like, oh, there's some similarities to it, right? But I unfortunately missed the whole thing, which hindsight speaking probably would have shortened my learning curve by years. I would actually say years. But yeah, I had to go the hard way, and now we just come up with this perfect guide for you. So again, you have the shortcut. Literally, you can learn years of our experience in literally a week. Think about it, how crazy that shit is, right? Again, I just tell you what my personal breakthrough was and when I came to these realizations, because a few people are always interested in that. For me, my breakthrough came with my basic programming knowledge, which came also with my trading experience, because I literally learned programming with trading, right? Because I wanted to automate stuff, and I digged into programming as well. And I started programming every strategy I knew at this point. And at this point, it was all like retail shit at this if you want to say so, right? It was literally the most basic things: Fibonacci retracement, breakout zones, trendline touches, EMA touches, like all these crazy things you could ever think of. I programmed literally everything I got my hands on, right? And the funny thing was, I came to the realization, when you put any, it doesn't matter how random the strategy was, on a 1-to-1 risk reward ratio, it came up with a 50% winning rate. Like, what in the hell? And obviously, if you hired the risk reward, the winning rate lowered, so it balanced it out at a break-even rate. And how in the hell could that be possible? And that's when I start questioning literally everything. I questioned the universe. I've questioned trading at its whole. I just asked, like, how can this be possible? I'm programming the most random shit you could think of, and it ends up at a break-even thing. Like, how can this be possible? And that's when I start digging into the rabbit hole, and it just hit me like a truck, and like full force into the rabbit hole. And that's when I understood, okay, this case that everything ends up with a break-even thing can only be the case when the market is literally perfectly engineered to make this happen. Again, there can't be coincidences. That Ikimoku cloud with a 50% retracement or whatever extension of a fib has the same win rate as the third touch of a trend line after an EMA gets crossed over, shit like that. How can this be a coincidence? It can't. There has to be a very, very smart engineering behind the market. And that's obviously when I started digging head first into that shit, right? So that's what opened the eyes for me, and that's when I discovered, okay, there has to be more. That it can't be like a random thing. Again, that everything ends up as a zero-sum game to keep everyone engaged, give them results, to not again scare them away. That again, if the retail strategies would never work, no one would ever trade them, right? So they have to satisfy them, they have to show them some results, but they don't want to show enough results that you actually can make a living from them. Yes, I'm not denying that you can't make a living from retail strategies like trend lines or breakouts, but yes, you have to be lucky with it. There's people that are trading breakouts for sure successfully, but again, this will not work for everyone. No, a lot of them, they don't even know what they do, but they got successful with it. I had a friend, actually, he was from Deutsche Bank, and he literally showed me, he made millions in trading, but I was still like not on the level, obviously. And I got very impressed, and obviously I got a friend with him, and he actually explained me his strategy. Then I programmed it, and it was the same freaking shit. A 50% win rate on a 1-to-1. So I literally asked him, I showed him, hey, how do you do it? It's literally not working. And he said to me, no, for him it works. And then he actually walked me through the process, and I actually have to say, he just literally got lucky. He traded the one examples that worked and just didn't trade the ones who didn't. Then I asked him, why did you not trade this one? He just said, like, no, it didn't feel right. No, I wasn't there. So he had all these excuses, but he didn't have the reason why he didn't take it, because it literally looked perfectly the same. So again, yes, it's possible to be lucky with retail strategies and make a living out of it, but this is not the way you should approach the markets, right? So again, on top of that, if you have a 50% winning rate, again, why do people even fuck up even more? Again, wrong risk management, all the emotions, you have spread, you have slippage, you have commissions, you have swap, you have all these things. And again, the biggest one obviously is emotions that work against you as well, right? So which is the same principle with, for example, also the red and black in a casino, right? If you play roulette, again, the casino has also the numbers advantage. Again, for example, in Forex, it's the spread, it's the slippage, it's the spreads, whatever. In the casino, again, they just always have the numbers. Example, even if you take roulette, again, what's the chance on a roulette table that you get red or black? It's not 50%. Again, they have the 0, which is green. And that limits the percentage to just 49% of either black or red. That means if they play 10 years casino, play 10 years whatever, always putting it on red, you will lose in the long term as it's not 50% win rate. You will lose because it's only 49%. On top of that, they adding in the non-logical outcome of previous events. Meaning, they show you the display saying, okay, here is the last outcomes of the roulette table. And it's been like 5 times black. So what's the next outcome of the roulette table? The true answer is it's literally 49% black, 49% red, and 1% blue, green, or whatever it is, right? So that's how they confuse people on purpose to give this false illusion that, again, previous events will have an impact on future events, which is not true. It's there to confuse people on purpose, to give them false expectations. Same thing in trading. Again, if you have 5 winning trades in a row, the next probability for your next trade is still the same, not depending on if you had 5 winning trades before or 10 losing trades in a row. It doesn't matter. Same thing would be like, oh, 5 losses in a row, the next one has to be a win. That's fucking bullshit, right? Again, don't get into this mindset. And again, start actually digging in to how the market really works and go away from this casino thinking, black and white thinking. It's not like that. So, meaning, with the Awakening Master Guide, you're in a very lucky position as you literally will getting the compressed information that took us, and everyone is included into Awakening, years, and again, in my case, close to a decade to figure that shit out. We did not have shortcuts. We did not have anyone who showed us these guidelines. We had to figure it out and create all these guidelines now for you to give you, again, literally the shortcut into 1 week, decade of experience. Madness, right? So this program is solely created to open your eyes and help you to get the realization of how the market works in a very clear step-by-step process, which we found over the last literally years of also teaching or having a private community. We know exactly what worked for them. We know exactly what confused them. We know exactly what's the best traders of our community did to get the success they have. And obviously you have the compressed shortcut version of that. So congratulations to you for finding the cheat codes actually to take this insane shortcut and literally shorten your learning curve by literally years down the line, because you will be understanding how the market works, and you already did. You already went through a few topics already, and again, your eyes should be already very opened of how they actually deliver price action, how they use Enigma, how they stop all these retailers on a literally day-to-day basis. The best thing, again, take this last little image in your head to stop this rant here. But again, think about it like this way. You probably remember the crypto hypes and all these pump and dump schemes, right? So when people obviously, they might like get very excited about, oh, this new coin, this new coin, that. Guess what happened? They've been used for exit liquidity for the big crypto whales who pushed and pumped these cryptocurrencies. And then obviously they dumped the price, sold off their shares or their cryptos, and obviously the retailer, the normal consumer, ended up losing money while everyone else with the proper knowledge made money. And that's literally in a nutshell what happens day to day, minute to minute in the markets. It's all these little pump and dump schemes of retailers getting excited, and then they used as exit liquidities for the actual real big boy club, right? So the moment you understand that, that is when everything is going to change and a true awakening is awaiting you.